Now, Blender is one of those softwares that can release a major update as often as 4 or 5 times a year. These updates usually include huge bug fixes to Blender's core, also feature enhancements like faster rendering, better looking viewports, and sometimes totally new tool sets that will just blow your mind. The developers at Blender are really amazing, and you don't want to miss out on all the super cool stuff that's being added to Blender. I think there are really two main fears that tend to cause people to shy away from updating. One is the fear that if they update, then something that they're used to using is going to go away somehow, or maybe it will be taken out of that next version. And I can assure you that this almost never happens with Blender. Almost to a fault, some people would say. If you've ever dug around in Blender, you'll notice that there are literally hundreds and hundreds of different tools and options and things everywhere. And that's exactly because that almost never happens. So that's not something you should worry about losing some sort of tool or functionality. The other fear, which I think is the bigger, more common one, is that by updating, you're going to lose your settings or you're going to lose some tweak you made to Blender's theme or workspace or hotkeys or something, and people really don't want their work environments that they've spent a long time getting just right to be changed in any way by an update. However, you no longer have to worry about this at all. Sensei Format makes it super easy to update both Blender and the Sensei Format add-on. It's totally pain-free. All of your settings, changes, add-ons you've added or removed, tweaks you've made will carry over with each update of Blender and with the Sensei Format add-on. And there's two ways of doing that, so I want to show you both ways so you get comfortable with updating so that the announcement of an update becomes an exciting, happy thing that you can't wait to try out, as opposed to a mixed emotion sort of, okay, what am I going to have to change or learn or lose? So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this browser here. And there are two ways that you can update both Blender and Sensei Format and be able to carry over all your settings, all your changes and everything so you don't lose any of your work environment. The first way is with automatic updates. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Blender here to open it up. And one thing you'll notice up here at the top, this says version 2.77. I've actually reinstalled an old version of Blender as well as an old version of the Sensei Format add-on to give you a demonstration of how the automatic update process works. Or it's really sort of a semi-automatic update process. It will basically notify you when there are updates available and then quickly walk you through the update process so it's not a pain, it's very by the numbers, and then you're done and you've got your original environment and workspaces and everything and you're good to go. Okay, so we are using an outdated version of Blender right now, 2.77. And because of that, you'll notice this little message that has popped up in the top right corner, indicated by this little Suzanne monkey head. And this tells us that an update is available for Blender and Sensei Format and to check out the file menu. So if there's an update to Blender, Sensei Format, or both, you'll see a message about it up in this top right corner. So now that we know that there's an update available, we can go to File, click Sensei Format, and down here you'll notice a couple new options that have shown up that weren't there before now that an update is available. So we can click this to follow the instructions to update Blender. There's also a link which will let us read about the latest update for both Blender and Sensei Format. So let's go ahead and follow the process to update Blender. So I'm going to click this, and when I do, we get this message. It says there's a new version of Blender available. If you wish to install, press OK. And you'll be taken to Blender's download page to select and download the latest version of Blender for your computer. And then it lets you know that Sensei Format will transfer all your settings for you. Just download and install Blender as you normally would. Then, when you open Blender back up, you'll have immediate access to Sensei Format, your add-ons, and all your settings basically. So for this to work, you want to make sure you actually click this OK on this message first. Click OK. Then this will send you to the official download page. Then you're going to want to download the appropriate version of Blender for your computer. Mine is a Windows 64-bit version, so I'll click that. And then just wait for Blender to download. Okay, that's finished downloading, so I'm going to minimize this and I'm going to go ahead and close this session of Blender out, press quit. And there's the installer for the new version. We'll go ahead and click on that, click run, click next, accept the terms, click next again, next, install. All right, so that's finished. I'll press finish there. And here is a shortcut to the new version we just installed. And now you can see we are updated to version 2.78. And the little message here is no longer saying that Blender needs updating, just Sensei format. And also you can see that all of our settings, our theming, hotkeys, everything transferred over for us. So it's just a really simple process to update, and you don't have to worry about losing your work environment or anything like that. Okay, so at the time of this video, the latest version of Sensei format is 5.47. So as you can see, we're a version behind here. The Sensei format update process is even faster than the Blender update process. It's actually totally automated. So if you click it and this message pops up, once you press OK, it will download the entire thing, install only the necessary core files to make it work, and then it loads the update log page to let you know about what was updated in the newest version. So if we go back and we open Blender, we wait a minute, and notice we're not getting any update messages because we're all updated now, which is good. So if we go to File, Sensei Format, notice we are now using 5.47. So that's pretty much all there is to it. Of course, if you prefer for Blender to not check for updates, you can come to File and under Sensei Format, uncheck, check for updates there. And to make sure that that change stays, you'd want to go to File, Save Startup File, and save your startup file there. And no more checks will be run for updates. So if you want to manually update, so you're not having Blender check for updates anymore, but you notice one day that there's a new version of Sensei format on the website, all you'd have to do is head over to the website, download the zip file, and then under here, go to File, Sensei Format, and click Update Sensei here. And so if you were to click that, it would then let you select the Sensei Format zip file, and you just click Update, and that would be the end of it. One other real quick note before we go, if you head over back to blender.org/download, the automatic check for updates feature in Sensei format will only check for official numbered versions. So for instance, say blender.org released version 2.78D or E, Sensei format's not going to alert you about an update. For that, it only is interested in full number versions. So when the next Blender 2.79 comes out, for instance, it would alert you to that and then help you update to that, transferring all your settings and stuff over. However, if a new lettered version does come out, say it's some sort of bug fix or update from the Blender Foundation, the good news is you can download and install the lettered versions and you don't have to do anything. So just download it, install it, and then whenever you turn on Blender, all your settings will be the same. Nothing will change. It will look exactly as it did from before you updated the latest lettered version. All right, we're done with learning about how to update Blender in Sensei format. I hope that you get used to doing this. It's not a scary bad thing. It's not going to mess up your work environment. For the most part, things are going to stay the same, and it's just going to continually increase the efficiency and functionality of your Blender program, so it's something you should totally do.